And we're here for episode 26. And I didn't have to check once, I had to check twice. And we're in episode 26. And this week we made a compromise on having a guest and just doing a general episode by having one of our one of our members as the guest, Mr. Rob
Remember.
Foley. Just went for the raw sex appeal this week.
Not,
So
not been wearing a t-shirt.
So we're gonna do an episode on Rob's career, how I made it on tour is the caption, and we had quite fun watching my ChatGPT creation for the graphic. Not for the reasons you'd think, but some questionable history in there.
Note to self, hide last searches on
Yeah,
ChatGPT.
yeah. Zoom should really look into that. Privacy
Very,
settings.
very
What actually
revealing.
is the meaning for Renegade Master?
The meaning for Renegade
Did they
Master.
ever answer that?
They did answer that. Let me give you the Renegade Master, and I had to ask what the difference between a Renegade and a Maverick was, or maybe it told me that. Just
Right, okay.
1 second. And the the reason was because I posted about Rory and I'd said back once again the Renegade Master, that song, and I was like, does this actually make sense, or am I calling him something that he shouldn't be called? And Renegade Master meaning generally means someone who is rebellious, influential, and not afraid to break the rules or challenge authority.
Right,
Oh,
okay.
And I said, does it have any negative connotations? And he said, depends on contact the text. And I said, could it describe Roy McIlroy? And it said, yes, you could use it to describe Roy McIlroy in the sense that he's independent, outspoken, and willing to challenge golf's traditional structures.
Right.
wow.
So I fit perfectly and was never in doubt. Just wanted reassurance from asking.
You're man of the fine details, Ethan.
That's it. Yeah.
That's it.
So, but anyway, we'll get into the golf over the weekend. What we can remember it of anyway, because we were in the pub for a very long time. We had so many drinks that we thought Hogwarts walked in, but that's actually what happened.
Mhm.
So, if any Dutch women from, or I was going to say Dutch women from the Netherlands, that's most Dutch women from the
Yeah.
Netherlands.
Narrowed it down.
We're in Finnegan's Wake on Sunday night. Good to see you again. Um, so yeah, we watched the RBC Heritage, and yeah, what a final! I was gonna say what a final round. He had it most under control. Matt Fitzpatrick, didn't he, Rob?
He never looked like he was going to lose, did he?
No.
No. From what I remember, uh, he didn't seem like he played great golf, but he just played good leader golf. So no mistakes, kind of played it every time to the safe side, didn't make mistakes, and just asked the other boys, "Can you catch me?" And one of them definitely did. It was world number one, Scotty Scheffler, who's apparently in a bit of a dip of form.
Yeah, I was listening to Smiley Kaufman's podcast this morning, and it's crazy to think people are rolling him out, but the fact that he's only had one win this year, which most pros would only dream of, you're like, oh,
Mhm.
he's not been doing that well, but he's had two runner-ups 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah, it's someone's dream season, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Um, I think it was a bit tough watching Matt hit that purred chip on the 72nd hole because he would just look like he was fairly under control, even though he kind of blitzed it the first two rounds. I think he only shot 4 under over the weekend after being, or maybe it was a bit more than that, wasn't it? It was around that. So he kind of, yeah, mellowed out and then didn't get up and down. And then you kind of feared the worst. And he hits probably one of the best 4 irons I've seen live.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
So yeah, and we were saying as well, all the other Masters picks we had in there had a really good RBC heritage. That's what we meant when we were picking.
Yeah. Siwoo again. Yeah, they seem to have a week off at the Masters, didn't they?
Yeah, not Scheffler. Well, we kind of you said Scheffler, and then he's back. Siwoo Kim,
Yeah, he
Colin
likes Jeff.
Morikawa finished sixth after
Yeah.
having a back injury, supposedly. Don't know why you'd pull out the players intentionally, to be fair. And then a couple other names that were, yeah, you thought it'd be usual suspects coming the Masters and kind of had a week off. But yeah, and then on Live, who won Live? This is bad, isn't it?
John Brown.
Did he?
John
In
Ram won by like 4, did he? 4 or 5?
Wow.
by 6, actually.
Won by
Yeah.
6.
Spanish 1-2-3.
In Mexico.
Yeah, in
In those
Mexico.
threads.
So there you go. That's
Yeah.
all I know.
Good to see Bryson was very complimentary of the course this week as
Yeah,
well.
he really enjoyed it. He seemed to like it, yeah. He's good at bunkers.
He pulled out actually, didn't he? So there you go.
A wrist injury. Don't
One
know.
of those, I think. One of those wrist injuries.
Yeah, what do you mean by that, Rob?
No, like it's just one of those wrist injuries, obviously.
The ground was too tough.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
ground was so that was the answer, Rob.
Ground
I
was
think
too
there is
firm,
a
40 yards behind the green after thinning bunker shot.
yeah. I know you can't complain about that, can you? But I know I think there is another podcast coming up about the recent revelations of Liv and what's going on.
Yeah, it's funny, and we're kind of reluctant to do an episode on it just because it's changing quite a lot. What the rumors are changing, and obviously as the war goes on, I think more speculation's going to build. But we'll not
Yeah.
really know probably till the end of the year what the financing's like for next year. But yeah, no, the golf's good. Good to see quite a well supported event as well. I think 90 odd people on the field. Obviously, Rory skipped out, but that's understandable. But yes, back on to the main event this week, Rob. We're going to be talking about your golf career. So
Look
yeah,
forward to it.
for our newer visitors or people that maybe not listened to us before, give a quick bio before we get into it, I suppose.
Yeah, so Robert Foley is the name. Born and raised in Switzerland from Irish parents. Grew up, played tons of sport, always knew that I was going to be, well, always had a strong feeling I was going to be I was going to fall into sport, into one sport, anyways, at a high level, kind of growing up. And then it just turned out to be golf. Um, and then from there, kind of never really looked back. Then didn't do anything crazy young. Wasn't too good. Like wasn't one of the staple names in the country or anything. But just kept plucking away, kept enjoying it. Had a bunch of friends, as a few guys do, and just played all the time. Got a little bit better every year. Just got to the point where played a bit of uni golf up in Stirling. Joined up there with the team where I met this beautiful bunch of guys, and played first team golf there. Also, again, like kind of got better year on year, but didn't do anything like outrageously good either. And then
Well, I
the
was going to
year,
ask Rob just because of the golf, because well, you're on the scholarship there. To get to that stage, like when you were playing all the other sports, did you at one point go, I'm going to stop playing football and other things and just concentrate on golf? What was kind of the turning point or when you realized I should probably just stick to the golf?
yeah, it's funny when I look back on some conversations I had with my parents, how serious they were, and when I look back, I realize how mad is it that we took it so serious. Like when I was like 12 or 13, we had a conversation about if I should maybe drop rugby or football and try and pursue one. And then we decided we go for football because there wasn't really a future in rugby in Switzerland
Yeah.
at like 12 or 13, which seems like now if I hear someone say that, I'm like, yeah, that's just completely mad. Just keep playing and see what happens. But so that shows like already when I was 12, 13, me and my parents were already thinking, oh, well, we better pick stuff that actually have doors that will open for later on.
So golf
It's
wasn't
not,
even in the conversation at that point.
no, no, no. I was playing a bit of rugby for the Swiss team, and I was playing football for like the kind of the regional county selecting team at a decent enough level. And but I love football so much. I was like, and I could see myself playing for Man United. That's how delusional I was.
You probably could these days.
Hey.
Probably get a game for Liverpool, maybe. No.
Mm.
And then and then I got injured for a bit, and so golf was always just a thing that I had mates that played. My dad played, and I just go up and it'd be for a bit of crack. And then one summer I just went down to like from like I was went down from like 10 to like 3, and I started playing in these junior events. but more for just for, you're away with the guys on a Sunday with your mates playing golf. Nothing serious, nothing like didn't. I don't think I had a technique. I think I had like 3 swing lessons up until I was like 18 years old or something. So I
I've
really,
got a bit of an admission. I don't know if it's the same for you. I used to have a bit of a personality trait, which was, well, I've never had a lesson for ages when I was younger, and I don't know if it's still the same thing with juniors now. It's like, oh, well, I've not had a lesson, so this is only how good I am. And then I probably got, when I was about 16, then I started getting lessons and just thought I should have done this so much sooner. I don't know if you were kind of in the same mindset. Maybe you were just playing it so casually that you weren't even that bothered.
I wasn't really bothered at all. Like I don't think no one's ever filmed my swing. I had no idea what I was doing. We had like the junior coaching was all performance stuff. So it's just they set up like cones and tasks, and then they just count up. You just count up how many times you hit the green, like 3 times in a row, or how many times you can hit the 80-yard green in like with 10 balls. That was basically all the training that I had up until like 18, 19. And even when I joined the Swiss team, they were like once I started playing the junior stuff, and because I was so competitive and determined that like the technical stuff didn't really matter. And we were doing so much performance stuff that I kind of knew how to get around the course, like
Yeah.
just in a casual way. And so I could shoot even par, hitting it terrible, and that was good enough to make the Swiss team at that time because the depth of the team wasn't super strong. And I remember going to like they sent 4 of us to the Hungarian boys Amet Junior Championship just to see if any of us like could deal with an international tournament, because I think there was 2 spots free to go to the European Team Championships with the main team, and like they sent like this B squad over to Hungarian juniors, and then I remember like having no idea, like I don't know, just the funniest event in the world. Like I'm being in the final group in the last day. I think I finished like fifth, and I thought, no one's really that good at golf. if I can finish fifth, without realizing that Hungary probably wasn't the biggest golf nation in the world at that time.
That's a bit of a that's a quiz. Can anybody name a Hungarian golfer?
No.
No,
No.
Puskas is probably up there, someone. And so, like, after all that, and then I made the junior Swiss team. I thought, oh, I must be pretty good, but I actually had no idea, obviously, of like the levels.
Yeah.
My standards at that time, because I had no idea really with golf. My standards were just Swiss team and Hungarian team. So, so that was kind of where I was. And then I started playing the stuff with the Swiss team, but like I wasn't a staple or a player or like one of the like a leading character in the dressing room, we'll say. So
How
then I
did you
just
get from that to then? Because you're saying it's around 18, that's obviously around the time you went to Stirling.
yeah, and then then I was kind of getting by with like my motivation, like my know-how for like, let's say like there's my determination. I was so determined to make it as a sportsman that all my kind of, let's say, weaknesses in like a technical point of view, or even like just from a golf IQ point of view, I was managing to surpass those in like a junior level or like an under 20s level. And then and then it came a point where I had to decide, like I got to like maybe 500 in the world amateur rankings, like really kind of not really knowing too much what I was doing. And then I got some offers to go to America, and I just spoke to a few of the Swiss guys, and they said, "Oh, well, if you go to America, you're going to be competing all the time. So it's more like you go there if you're ready to compete. But if you go to Sterling, you're going to learn how to play golf." And I feel like that suited me way more than, because I knew that like I played the British Amateur that summer, and I don't know how I made the match play somehow, but I knew that I wasn't at the level of the boys that could really play golf. So I knew that I was self-aware that I was getting the most out of myself, and I wasn't winning events or I wasn't contending in amateur events. So, or like the top amateur events, I was like, I really need to learn how to play golf. And then I had
When you
one
say
conversation
play
with,
golf, like you just mean technically they were better, or in what way did you go to these
well, even
events
like
guys were better?
my golf knowledge, my golf IQ, like how to play the game. I played with some of the even the top Swiss guys, and I just felt like they could pick shots, or their decision making, or how they would play golf was already a step above, let alone like the top English players or the top like Spanish players like these guys. So I was like, okay, I need to go somewhere where I'm gonna develop, proper develop, and not go to, because America, you're not really guaranteed that you're going to develop as a player. You're guaranteed that you're going to compete and you're going to be in a high performing environment. But if you don't have the tools to like deal with that at like a high level, then you're in trouble. And I felt like I had no tools, let alone a few tools. So that's where like I was like, okay, I'll go to Sterling, because I had a conversation with the coach there, Dean Robertson, and within the first conversation, he spoke to me about like things, and I was like, this guy's speaking Chinese to me. I was like, okay,
I didn't know
okay.
Dean spoke Chinese.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, maybe after a few drinks. But anyway, though, I just like, okay, I need to go and learn Chinese here in Sterling. 'Cause
Yeah.
I'm trying to play golf as a Swiss junior player. That's just not going to cut it. And that ended up being like a really, really good decision.
Yeah, and then so you're saying between America and going to Sterling, maybe the volume of golf in the US is higher, but obviously you were playing Bucks events, so British University and colleges sport events, but then you were playing select events in the US and in Europe as well, and you just thought like it's probably a better variety of golf for you as well.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's one thing. Like as well, like in Stirling, you can't really fake shoot in Scotland in winter at 2 under par. Like that's just you can't. You have to know golf. You have to know how to play golf. You have to have a golf IQ. And I found that out pretty quickly when I think in my first 5 events, I missed 4 cuts and got DQ'd in one. So that was good. Actually, the one I got DQ'd in was the one actually I played well in. I think I was like 2 off the lead after the first round, and the Ryder Cup was on in the back, and I just signed the card and handed it in, and I just realized that the guy never wrote in the 18th hole.
Oh no.
Oh.
But
Yeah,
Dean was over the moon with his new signing, wasn't he?
yeah, he was. Yeah, so it was a good first semester. I was actually thinking of like just leaving at that point. After first semester, it was like, because I mean I had no skills, I I had no golf IQ. It was windy, playing really tough courses. Like I could fake it in Switzerland or these junior events and shoot like level par, 1 under. You can get away with it even in summer anywhere. But in winter in Scotland, you get found out if there's if you if you
Yeah,
if,
and it
if
was
you have any weaknesses.
so it was the
And
nightlife that kept you.
well, that's one of the weaknesses, but yeah, well, that's part of the experience, I guess.
So what from that development then from a rocky first semester, did it take you a semester to learn? Did it take a year, 2 years? When did you kind of see the progression happen? And what specifically was it that made you go from struggling to obviously putting good scores together?
Yeah, yeah. So it was like, so you go from kind of just standing up and hitting the ball and then finding it, to then you go to Scotland and the coach is telling you, okay, so the wind's blowing 20 off the right. You have to aim it right there. You have to hold it up, probably you have to hold it up 5 yards. So it holds up at the start of the shot, and then you let it fall 15 so it bounces on the right side of the green. And you want to do that because if you start riding it, then you're going to miss long left and you're definitely making bogey, if not double. And then I was like looking at the coach going, oh my God, I
There's
have,
that Chinese again.
this is Chinese. And then so I've spent the first 5 events basically trying to learn how to, play a soft like a low soft cut into a 20 mile an hour into the wind off the right, and then trying to start controlling my ball. And
Mhm.
it took a good 6 7 months to actually start, give or take, to start controlling the golf ball. And then from there it was steady progression of like, okay, now I can pull these shots off in training. Okay, now I can go and try test them out in tournament. Okay, I'm starting to get a little bit better at this in tournament. I can now draw it up into a left or right breeze. I can, hit a high hold up into a front pin with wind down off the right. You start kind of gaining slowly but surely. You get control. You get control of your golf ball, and then with playing all these shots, actually you start getting golf IQ builds at the same time as well, which is just as important. Just like what shots to hit with what wind, what shots to hit, what off the tee with the wind that you have with the pins coming up. Then the what was great about winter in Scotland is that it forced you to, like, you either sink or you swim,
Yeah.
and and there was no choice. And I was like so determined that I wanted to do something in this game. I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to learn, like, big time here. And that's what it forced you to do. And if you kind of allow yourself to learn, I feel like there's so many guys that fight it or that get down on themselves because I don't have the shot, but like I kind of allowed myself to fail. So many guys talk about it, so cliche and cringe, but you allow yourself to mess up so bad because you need to build control, and the only way to do that is to hit horrendous golf shots at the
Yeah.
start. To,
Well,
to know,
we
like,
can all kind of relate to that because we all played these events at uni, and I know the standard in terms of, say, handicaps or skill level between the best player and the worst player in the field, it was a pretty wide variety. But it was almost like, I know you'd have the cut, but the leaderboard was always split into like two or three. Whereas I remember Jordan, when you won at Western Gales in that crazy weather, there was like a pack of you so far ahead of everybody else. And I'm
yeah.
going to ask you a question, Jordan, just to make sure you're still with us as well. So,
Would you
like,
agree,
I'm
Jordan?
just
If
listening.
we, sorry, go for
No, I'm just listening. I'm just listening. It's great.
Yeah, no,
go
you're
for
not
it,
right.
Rob.
But it's what if you can see it's the ones who've kind of got that toolbox that kind of can stay around par. The toolbox that you were just talking about, Rob.
Yeah, exactly. That was it. Like, you guys probably felt the same thing. As if we played those box events that we played from October to March in much tougher conditions, that really separated the field. But if we played those in summer,
Hmm.
it would have been way tighter. And you even seen like some names that would have never been up in the leaderboard October to March, they would have been up there. They would be up there June, and
Hmm.
you'd be able to get around in two or if not fluke it, but you can play golf in two or three under. But
Yeah.
the October to March tournaments that we played really separated the guys that had the skills
Hmm.
and the golf IQ and the control of their golf ball. And yeah, exactly. It really separated the field, and you could tell because every week it was the same 10 guys that were pretty much in the
Yeah.
top 10. And it's no yeah, it's kind of no surprise really that those 10 guys are most of those guys are playing professional golf, and a lot of them went on to do like really good things. If you think of like even guys that played Sterling before, those who really did well in the box events, like
You've
you
got
think
players
of,
who played the same time as us, like Rona Maloney, he's playing on tour now. You've got like Monty Scousel, who plays um professional golf, you boys. There's loads of examples, like not just at Stirling, but yeah, there's always like a top, don't know what percentage wise, but maybe top 15% of guys in the field that if they weren't first one week, they were third the next week. And I think you should probably t touch on temperament as well, because it's one thing to play in hard conditions, but you're also playing yeah, and it's cold, it's freezing. Lots of people don't want to be there after they've just went double double, and then they realize about all the work they've got to do when they get back to uni. Like your temperament as well. I think that's where I kind of developed quite a lot. So I don't know how your temperament, your attitude in the course was different, but before you went, Rob, it sounds like you had most stuff under control. You didn't really care, but did you?
well, it's just that I was so like long-term focused, which I think was a big difference, which was what helped me the most. I was like, okay, I want to be a great player by my fourth year at uni. So I gave myself leverage, whereas you play with guys and it's like they want to be Tiger Woods straight away. And I knew I wasn't, like my biggest skill was probably I knew where I was at that moment. I know like my limitations and I know how I need to get better. And that's really what helped me the most is like I could shoot an 85 and it wouldn't be the end of the world because I just knew I didn't have the skills, but I knew I was building the skills.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to go like, there's no point testing out like holding it up in a right to left wind in practice and then you go to an event and it's blowing 20 off the right and you just hit a trap hook that's moving 50 yards in the air and you know you're going to get it on the green, but that's not long term. That's not a long term plan. Like you don't build a toolbox with that.
Yeah.
So I mean, Jordan, playing with Jordan in really tough conditions, like playing with great players, that's also what really helps. You see like guys that they're not scraping by, they're hitting the shots that are asked, and you can tell who's got it and who hasn't.
Yeah.
And I just knew I didn't have it.
Yeah.
And that was probably my biggest, my best skill, let's say, is that I knew that I didn't have it and I needed to get it.
So talk us through then building all those skills and knowledge in your toolbox to then maybe the latter stages of uni and thinking like what comes into your mind. Do you think I'm going to try and continue competing at high amateur level? Were you always going to go pro? What was that decision like?
I always felt like, even when I was shooting 85 or 90s, I always felt like I was going to go pro, but I had 4 or 5 years, so I wasn't really stressed. I played with so many guys exactly that it's like this year or I need to make it this year. But you have so much time when you're an amateur. So I want to try, even when you're a junior, like people, like guys get so stressed over this, but you have so much time. And I knew I needed to be ready, or I knew I needed to build everything by about like my third or fourth year uni. But I always knew, or I was always very determined and motivated to go pro, even when things weren't going well, or even in my first year when I didn't, when I wasn't gearing up to it. But I always had that long term plan that I knew I could always see myself playing on tour. But it was the question is, okay, what do I need to do to be that guy that's going to be on tour one year? And sometimes you have to suffer. But by the time that I finished my like third year, or kind of halfway through third year in uni, I kind of realized, okay, I've got the skills, I've got the toolbox now. This is great. Now you can just start actually playing golf
Mm-hmm.
and competing. And now here's kind of your time to go and really test yourself now in these big events. And then from there, I started playing like really good golf. It was kind of just a natural progression every year where I was like, okay, once I got the toolbox, then you can go and play, and then you can test your mental strength at the top level and your shot making ability under pressure. And then that's what helped me so much when eventually, like that year just after uni, well, COVID hit, which was not great timing, but the year just after, when everything kind of reopened, and I started playing kind of big amateur events and and pro golf tour events, satellite tour events, and I think I ended that year when I turned pro. I was like first in the European golf rankings, which is the rankings for players that aren't in college in the US.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I think I was top 20 in the Scratch World Amateur ranking. The issue with the World Amateur Golf ranking, it's over a 2 year period.
Yeah.
So, and my progress was kind of in a way where, especially with COVID, is that I was just progressing so well. I should put a lamp on, maybe.
You're disappearing there, Rob.
Um, the podcast, sorry. And my progress was so like on a straight line on an up curve level that I hit that last year, and then I just like everything kind of came together. And yeah, I think I finished seventh in the European Amateur Championship. What else did I do? Yeah, I think third at the Portuguese like sixth or seventh at the Italian finished third at the Spanish Am. Then started playing some pro events, finishing second in all of those, and then it's a second quite a few times in some satellite tour events. But that one season is just because I just allowed myself all like 5 years to get to that level.
Yeah.
Which was the huge part of it. And so I never panicked. I never got stressed. I never, oh, is this going to be for me or not? I just knew that this was a 5 year plan.
Yeah.
And then once I hit that year, kind of it all fell in place. And then I had, the toolbox was there. I was ready by that 5th year. But I definitely wasn't ready first, second year of uni or anything but I knew that. And I didn't get stressed over it. Just keep working on your skills, keep training.
And then, so you turned pro, and talk us through how that works at the time. So you have, as you're in the Swiss golf team, do you get any starts through Swiss golf team? Have you got sponsors this stage who's supporting you? How does that? Because I think a lot of people don't really know how it works when you go from amateur to pro.
Yeah, so that amateur year, so I done really well in the amateur events, then played some pro events at the same time because it was still also COVID, so you can kind of still, so I try to make it a full schedule because I wasn't in uni anymore, so to play like 24 events. So I was playing some pro stuff next to it, and then I played Swiss golf were really good. They gave me, I got 5 invites to play the satellite tour, the pro golf tour, and at the same time I was building a supporters club back home because I was doing so well and I needed a bit of funding. So at the same time I was building like a club of people who were going to support me on this journey because it really looked like, okay, it's going to be lift off here. So you were planning for that in one way, and then with those 5 starts, did really well. I think I had 2 seconds, and like all of them were in the top 15. And then in my 5th event, which was my last invite, I had to win to get status, and I ended up being lucky enough to win it. And that was so that gave me full status on the pro golf tour because I didn't have a card, but the only way you could get a card was by winning. And so I ended up winning there in the playoff, and that was huge. And then ended up keeping playing on that tour for the end of the year and getting my challenge tour card. I think I only played half of the events, but I finished second in the rankings and got the challenge tour card that
You
way.
have a like couple wins or top finishes, obviously, to get that with the limited schedule.
Exactly, yeah. So that was brilliant. And then after the challenge tour the year after, had the club, got some sponsors, everything was really in place. But what I wasn't really ready for when I turned pro was that you really need, like at the amateur level and at the satellite tour level, you can really get away with doing it yourself in a sense of like you just rock up, you're good with your wedges and you've got a toolbox and you're determined, and that's good enough. And then once that first year I got on challenge tour, my big mistake was not bringing a team with me like on that journey. I had a coach and I had that stuff, but I was very much doing a lot of it by myself. So learning week to week, dealing with everything myself. And that was a mistake. I should have built a better team, like which was what I have now, like 4 or 5 people that that you follow, that you have follow-ups with constantly, that you're constantly talking about your game, because it's a different animal in terms of like what you're dealing with, how much things change from a day to day, how many events you're playing, how much you're traveling, how much grass changes. Like there's so many, you have your toolbox, but you need so much more than just a toolbox once you reach top level golf, tour level golf, challenge tour, European tour. You
Yeah, and
can't,
that
don't
team
get away with it.
is the team like made up of who? Is there's coaches? Is there like short game coaches, physios? Who's all in
Yeah,
that 4 or
yeah,
5
exactly.
person team?
Physios, short game coaches, putting coaches, mentors, especially. I think like having the issue with like tour level golf is that there are so many events that you go into that you're playing bad in. Whereas amateur golf and satellite tour golf, you have quite a lot of time in between. It's 3 rounds. You're not as tired. You don't travel as much. You're playing the same grass and the same courses all the time. So it's much less difficult on the mind and the body. Like we're talking like you're it's just it's a different animal of the like the things the toolbox, like the skills that you have on with your golf game is one thing, but the toolbox you need for dealing with you know
Hmm.
all the other factors is another thing, and that's something I didn't have. And I
Yeah.
didn't realize that it's something that's just as important as your golf skills. And that's something that I really, I found that so difficult. Just the amount of golf you're playing, how tired you are, how many events you play, where you're hitting it bad, where your clubs aren't reacting with the ground like how you want it to, how you're not, reading the greens well one week, and then you're getting to grainy greens, like different types of grass, Bermuda. It's just it's a total different ball game.
Yeah, I suppose, and added to the fact in that is when you're on your first year in tour, the most important thing is, yeah, the money, but it's your order of merit points. And the only way you get order of merit points is by playing everything. And as
Yeah.
you said, you could be stuck between a rock and a hard place because you're not swinging it well, but you can't afford to take the time off.
Yeah, exactly. So I kind of did the rookie mistake of playing everything from like the second half of this. I had actually quite a decent first half of the year. I think I was like 70th in the rankings, which would have been good enough to keep your card. And then I just I just got impatient, and I was like, I need to make points to make the DP World Tour. And then I just started playing everything, and I just started getting tired and losing my swing, not working on my swing. And I played, like, I think I played 12 of the last 13, something like that, and that was just a recipe for disaster. And I just never got my game to a place that was like competitive. I just felt like playing was the most important thing to make points, and that's not the most. It's like being ready to play is way more important
Yeah, it might
than
be quite interesting for people to hear.
play.
Say you've got like a back-to-back tournament. How does that week usually look from like Sunday you've just finished one tournament? Take me from Sunday night onwards, you're playing a different country next week. When are you trying to get to the golf course? Things like that.
Yeah, so I can take you through like let's say the first two events or three events in the Challenge Tour this year. So we're playing Rome first week. So good thing it's a course I know. So I'll get there on Monday morning, play 9 holes on Monday, um, go do like it's been a travel day, so you're trying to get your body right. So you'll do like a functional mobility workout in the evening just to try and get yourself reset. Then I like to play 18 holes on a Tuesday, just to get the feel for how, playing 18 holes of golf, get ready for that. And then Wednesday is kind of performance day. So you're playing 9 holes, you're usually playing a money match with the guys you're playing with. You're playing, and then you're working to be ready for Thursday for that first tee shot under pressure on the Wednesday on the range. So you're doing a lot of performance drills. You're doing your full routine. You're working through your routine. You're more testing yourself like under pressure. Then let's say you play Thursday to Sunday. You travel probably either Sunday night or Monday morning, get to the new course, and then you're just doing the same again, pretty much. And
Non-stop,
it's
basically. And
not,
and
yeah.
that's yeah, if you've not played the course before, are you still just doing 9, 18, 9, even if you've not played, or are you trying to squeeze more holes in the Monday or Wednesday?
If like the second week, I know the course, I'll probably just play like 6, then 9 and 9. But if you don't know the course, which there's a few this year, then you have to play 9. I want to play both nines twice. That's
Mhm.
one time to take all your notes on the golf course, how it is, how it's playing, where to miss, where not to miss. So use your first go on the 9 like that, just to know how to play the hole, and then the second 9 to play the hole as if you're playing it in tournament, and then to see if that's the right strategy, if that's working, if that pays off. So then you get. So that's how I like to do it. And then let's say, imagine if you're playing 6 weeks in a row, that just becomes
Intense.
mental, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you're supposed to be, competing at a high level as well. So that's what I did wrong my first year. Just not patient enough, not enough in the mindset. I need to be ready to play golf, not I need to go and play. I need to go and play golf. And yeah, so that, but it's all like, you know, what happened. So I lost my card. I lost partial. I still had partial card 23. Lost that in 2023. Then went back down to Pro Golf Tour in 2024. Had a full reset that year. Left my coach. Left kind of like the whole base I had in Switzerland. I was like, okay, we need to start building like a tour level team here because that's
Mhm.
I haven't got that, and I didn't have the tools in a coaching and in a team perspective to deal with what was gonna play out. So then just dumped everyone. Started from scratch in winter 2024, winter 2023 to 24, and then had a really good year 2024. Got my card back on Challenge Tour. Also got partial Asian Tour card. Made it to final stage DP World Tour. Um, then we started 2025. Just kept the same thing. Just adding small things here and there. Um, yeah, really happy with the coaching staff. Started playing like I was starting to really hit the ball great. And then got injured for about 7 months in April. So that was good timing.
Yeah.
But everything happens for a reason, and now I'm probably in one of the best places I've ever been at the minute going into this new season, and that's that's what having your whole team is like. I got injured, been out for 7 months. Game wasn't great at all coming back, but you don't hit the panic button. You just keep working with the right people, keep building that toolbox of skills and the toolbox of like your mentor and your coaching side as well. And I feel pretty equipped going to this year. But you never know in this game.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. Exactly.
Um, so this year, what are your goals for, if you set goals, what are they for 2026?
The goal this year is definitely to make the final, the Mallorca Road to Mallorca final. I think that's an achievable goal, and I feel like I don't really have much question marks where I feel like I'm gonna panic during the year. I feel like experience is there. Everything's in place to not panic and do the right things. So that's yeah, looking forward to a great year on the Hotel Planner Tour. Hopefully, yeah.
Happy days. Well, hopefully it will all work out. And yeah, you're only as good as your last match, though, Rob, and that was a half match against me on Saturday. So
Listen, stay humble, as they say.
stay humble.
Ethan, you're a good player, to be fair.
Thank you. Yeah, until last night. No, I played
Especially
okay.
when
To be fair. So we've got a few questions as well, and if Jordan and Kempo have a couple of questions, which I'm sure they will at some stage as well, then feel free. We've got three from our friend Jay McIntosh, and thank goodness we do have three because we only got four
Because he's the
total.
only one.
We didn't give everybody much time because we thought of this in the pub on Sunday. So number one from Jamie is when you're not at your best in a tournament, what do elite players do differently to still get the ball round and under par?
So what
Um,
I tend to do is no, I'm sure carry on.
is this the good things, the right thing to do, or the wrong things?
The right
Or
things. What do players like yourself, Rob, do to get the ball under par even when you're not playing your best?
Yeah, I think there's a difference now between when I first went on up the challenge tour is that, it doesn't mean that you're hitting it bad, that you got no chance, you're gonna have a bad tournament. I think that's the first thing. Like the mindset is you can hit it bad and shoot 67. Like you can, anyone can. And that's the first move. Like it's just to not panic and just be comfortable with hitting it bad. I think that's one of the main differences is when we've played together and you're not hitting it great, and I just feel like there's a spiral going on,
Hmm.
and then suddenly you're hitting a big cut, and then you're trying to overcorrect it, and then you hit a huge hook, and
Hmm.
then you're kind of completely lost within your game,
Yeah.
and then like the big thing that the pros do is that okay, I'm like pulling at the minute, so I'm just going to aim a bit more right, and that's about it, and then
Yeah.
we'll just deal with it. And then just be comfortable with if you are hitting like a bigger cut, just be okay with like just don't panic and be like, okay, well I'll just aim more left.
If you just to play devil's advocate, say you're playing a tournament and you've got a two-way miss going, will you go for less club off the tee, or will you just take the risk that driver will get me somewhere down there?
I think this is the other thing as well, is that the main difference as well is that we have like top good pros or tour pros have a really strong B game. So if they're not hitting it perfect with their A game, so I know, like, let's say the third round last week at the clutch, I was hitting a much, like, I hit a great first round, but I didn't hit a great third round. So I know I'm just gonna start hitting driver a bit lower, I have much more better control of my start line, and I have a much. It also cancels out how big the miss is going to be. So if when I hit it low and I do hit a pull draw or a pull hook, it's going to be like 20 yards offline. Whereas when if I've got a pull hook going and I'm trying to tee it up high and send it,
Mhm.
that brings the 50-yard miss into play and the out
Yeah.
of bounds ball.
It genuinely tends to hit the trees rather than going over them. That's the key thing.
Exactly. So you just build a B game,
Yeah.
and that's what I feel like amateurs, like even top amateurs, don't have. Is when they start not hitting it great, then you just start to kind of spiral and more like try and hit shots. Hopefully it goes straight rather than like, okay, I'm just going to hit it lower here. Why? Because if I hit it lower, then it's not gonna fly further offline, or I'm gonna put it a bit back in my stance so I can cover a bit more with my chest. So I've got more control of the start line of the golf ball.
So it's a
So
bit
it's
more
just
acceptance about where you're at, and that's what you
yeah.
just got to play with. And I was going to ask as well, this is a question kind of in a similar vein from our friend Lewis Fraser, who's went to Stirling with, and he works for Bunkered, the golf magazine as well. So he's asked the biggest differences between a low handicap AM and a tour pro at your level.
Um, Probably not a huge difference golf game wise, but once again, like just a huge difference in the B game toolbox. So just knowing how to get yourself around the golf course when you're playing bad. I think that's like I know that if I start hitting it left, I know exactly what I'm going to do with my golf swing so that I can hit it straighter. So it's about like just knowing your tendencies, knowing how to fix your tendencies, and trusting that. So it's not second guessing yourself and being okay with hitting it terrible. I think that's the main thing. I think top amateurs, they hit a few bad shots and they think they're the worst player in the world, and they think they're now not going to make it on tour, and the dream is over, and
Mhm.
and that they're going to get, people are going to talk about them in the clubhouse later on and saying how bad a ball striker he is. But top pros, they just don't care. It's like, okay, do I have to hit it like a half golf swing, back footed, with a completely weird sawn off finish, so that to make sure that this ball doesn't move left to right or doesn't move right to left? Like, we'll just do what it takes.
Mhm.
And
Do you think that's a technical thing as well? Having like good club face awareness, just knowing your swing, knowing what, because there's maybe top amateurs out there who kind of believe the logic, but on the golf course they wouldn't even know where to start with technically where
yeah,
to,
I,
what to
I
do with
think
that.
this also comes a lot down to the golf IQ. And I think that's a big difference between, how many of you guys have watched a pro go around in a big tour event, and you're like, he didn't really hit it that good, and he's shot 67. And you're
Mhm.
like, how has he shot 67? Well, because he's got so much golf IQ and knowledge.
Yeah.
They've got bucket loads, and that's how they shoot 67. It's not with ball striking, but it's exactly this, what I had to learn at Sterling, which is, how to get the ball in the hole, how to pick the right shots, the decision making. The golf IQ is a huge part, and the only play way to like get a strong golf IQ is to, play with better players, play in terrible conditions, play in, different lies, hit 3 or 4 shots with ball above your feet with different feelings. How, people get ball above their feet and then they start aiming way right and they hit 60-yard hooks and they try and figure out a way. Whereas a tour pro will just stand up and he'll know, okay, I just need to swing left at the ball and this ball is just going to
Mhm.
fly straight. And that's the difference in the IQ of the game. which
Cool.
is like what to do in different
Yeah.
situations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense. And that's kind of something you said, different situations as well. That's another question from Jamie. Looking back, what's one strategic mistake you used to make all the time that you've completely eliminated now?
Um, yeah, just the golf IQ is a huge one. Just picking the right shots for the situation, picking the right swing feel for the right situation. I think that's the main thing, and all of that with accepting, then forgetting and moving on. Like just the self-reflection is the big part as well. Like you'll play with top amateurs and they'll be on like a huge downslope and they'll hit the shot and it'll go like either they'll off the downslope either you'll pull it like 20 yards left or you'll push slice it 20 yards right. And the first reaction is I always pull it off these downhill lies, or
Hmm.
I can never hit a straight shot off a downhill lie. And it's not like, okay, asking yourself like what happened here, or asking people like, asking a top player like, okay, why am I pulling it off a downhill lie? So asking yourself the right questions and trying to figure out and reflect in the right way. I think that's people react so much and they're so tied emotionally to what's happening. They just you limit your learning so much with
Yeah,
how
you
you
think you
react.
think that's just happened rather than why did that
Exactly.
just happen?
Yeah.
And then we've talked about before about off the tee as well, and you talked about growing up not hitting driver as much, and I'm thinking strategically, has your mindset changed about hitting driver off tough, narrow holes, whereas maybe before would you hit 2 irons off the tee? Has there been any like moment where you've thought I just hit driver as much as possible, or where's your mindset now with that?
Yeah, that's huge, but that's come with the building the skills as well. Like once you build a competence with the driver, then
Hmm.
if you have the right mindset, that's going to come naturally. If you reflect well, and if you're like, okay, I've got the shot for this hole, you can be aggressive. But that comes with the competences. That's just something that I didn't have. Like I was a complete winger off the tee. That's why I shot I think 89, 88 in my first tournament round in Sterling when it was blowing 30 because I just had no competence to play golf.
Yeah.
So, I think we can talk as much as we can, but you still have to be you still have to,
Yeah, you still have to hit
hit
the
the ball pretty
shots.
straight, I think.
No, the only reason I say that is between like playing with you and Jordan. I know me and Campbell played a lot with Jordan at like the Burgess and stuff. And me and Campbell might have been tempted to hit like 2 iron or three wood in some holes, and he just turned around and Jordan's already got the driver out, and he's
Hmm.
just like, then he would explain to you why he's hitting driver, then you go, oh yeah,
You rarely disagree with him. Yeah.
yeah,
I
and
hate
then
that.
it's good now because I feel like in tournaments, even in bad conditions, I'm standing up and just pulling driver out because I'm like,
Yeah.
usually, hopefully, I know it. I kind of as I'm practicing my driver more the last couple of weeks, got a one way miss going more or less. Um, that I know that actually I'm probably just as accurate with a driver as I am with a three wood. And me and my 2 iron fall in and out of love all the time. So
Yeah.
I'd rather be, I'm not going to say a distance up there until Jordan tells me you don't hit it that far. But
Yeah, but this
might as
all
well just
falls
hit driver.
under
But
like
it's just
the
building that confidence and just,
Yeah, you are right though. Like Robbie, like I said, there's no point telling someone to hit driver all the time if they can't hit driver. You do need to learn that skill,
yeah.
and that's when it can become the strength it is.
But that's where the golf IQ comes in play. That's where like Jordan has a really, really strong golf IQ. And you can see when we're playing the four of us, Jordan, I'm sure when we play the four of us, sometimes I get this thought, and you must get the same when you're like, oh, he's just hit that shot because he has no golf IQ.
he's
Not
got
no
big
golf
Yeah,
IQ, yeah.
it's probably like
Yeah.
50-50 actually. He actually some but the thing is it's golf IQ, you're right, it's golf IQ, but if you don't sometimes people know the right shot to hit, but they can't hit it.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what you were talking about earlier, learning those shots to hit because you're going to need those shots in the future.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, or it's
So
not, or not practice them, which is
exactly.
another. That's and I always say to you like, oh, I tried drawing that off tee, and you go, you've not hit a draw in 4 years. Like, why? But that's shot selection, and again, like you say, it's golf IQ.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
there's big. I can notice a big technical difference, obviously, between me and Campbell and you two. But like when I caddied for Jordan, and we played a lot of golf together. But as it the sixth, the par three, there's like a stream left of the green, It's a back left pin. The wind was off the right, and you held up a club, basically starting it on the pin. And I'm thinking, obviously didn't say it loud, but I'm thinking in my head, if I pull this like I'm in the water, and he's starting it basically on the water and peeling it back, I'm like, I would never even think about taking that shot on.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the main difference is that like you have to, there's no point doing all the training and practice and stuff, and then getting to a tournament
Yeah.
and hitting your trap draw when you've been
Yeah.
when you've been working on your hold up fade the whole week.
Yeah.
And that's the main difference that you pros like Jordan and myself, we'll back ourselves and we'll go for it because we've done the training. Like so many people, they work so hard on their driver, and then you play with them, and they're just pulling 2 irons when the hole gets a bit narrow. You have to train, and you have to fail, and you have to shoot 88, 89, and miss cuts for 6 months. But to then get to the other side where you just become such a better golfer.
Yeah.
Agree with that.
Yeah, definitely. That's something I wish. No, I'd failed quite a lot at the start still as well, but I feel like you just need to. I just wish I had started at driver about 3 or 4 years ago instead of just now. But kind of similar. Finally, this is Jamie's last question. What is the biggest statistical drop off you see in players when they move from casual rounds into elite competition?
The biggest one, I think Jordan will probably agree, is that so the amount of tension that people play with once they get a scorecard, and then that tension goes straight to the short game. It's unbelievable. And then when you get tense, the biggest shots that suffer are the ones where you're moving the least. So like the short chip shots, even bunker shots and putting. And the only, that's the biggest statistical difference, is that how many guys are like, oh, when I'm in competition, I miss so many short putts. That's just because they don't know how to handle tension, that tension, just how to be relaxed, how to be comfortable with a scorecard in your pocket. And that's not a skill you can really teach, unfortunately. Well, you could, but it's going to cost you a lot
I was
of
actually
money.
about to say, have you got any advice for that? Asking for a friend. What would you
Yeah,
say?
I think it's being comfortable with taking your training to the course and trusting it. So once again, it's like, so you've been working on keeping your head still in your putting all week in practice, and then people get to the first green and their first 3-footer, it's like the total trust in what they've been working on and they hit the putt like that. It's like, okay, I've been working on keeping my head still. Okay, just really trust yourself to do what you've been doing in training.
Yeah,
I feel like
giving
that
yourself the
all
best
goes out
chance
the
to hold the
window.
putt, really, as well. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would agree definitely because I feel like these days I would get more nervous over shorter putts than a first tee shot. I don't really feel everybody feels first tee nerves, but I think it's so true when you say that you can just step up
Yeah,
and just bang it. It doesn't even have to be
exactly.
a perfect swing, but you can bang it, and you can even if you're nervous, if I hit this really hard, I know where it's going to go. Whereas,
You're not
yeah,
going to bang it.
yeah, but no, I've moved to left hand low putting, and it's pretty good the past few days, so I'm happy enough. But I've still not done it in a competition, and we've got 2 tournaments this weekend, so that'll be the real test.
Yeah.
Not in a match, to be fair, last night, but obviously don't have get too many from that range. But yeah, were there any questions you were thinking of, Kempo or Jordan?
Um, not, no, not really. Jamie took all mine, so
I think we covered quite a lot, to be fair.
We did,
yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of these questions get answered in the pub as well. Um, I think there was one thing I was going to mention earlier, Rob, is one of these biggest myths you said is that you can't find something on the range the day before when you were talking about like working on your swing and stuff on a Wednesday.
Yeah. It makes me laugh when like people say, oh, even pros, sometimes they come out in their interviews, it's like, oh, you're not going to find it on a Wednesday. You can definitely find it on a Wednesday. You can find it on a Thursday morning. No problem. See, like his biggest example is Rory doing that 15, 20-minute practice range session on the Saturday evening after hitting it like the worst he's probably hit it all year. And then just saying like, yeah, I found something Saturday evening just before the final round of the Masters. Like if you can find something before the final round of the Masters, you can find something on the morning before your monthly medal. Like you don't have you can find something 10 minutes before your tee time. You can find something after the second hole on the golf course to play with.
You just put a wee soundtrack over the back of that was like motivational, one of those motivational TikToks.
Run through it. We are firemen.
Yeah, no, especially top players as well. It could be something as simple as, oh, the ball was too far back, and you just move it up, and then you find it. Or even if you don't find it as such, you go, well, at least I've got a shot that I can play tomorrow under pressure. So, yeah, no, it was interesting when you said that. And then, yeah, when Roy said it last week at the Masters, I was like, oh, Rob said it first. So no, thanks very much, Rob. Hopefully that was enjoyable for everyone. This will be going out Wednesday morning, and then next week, trying to think what's coming up in the golf world. We'll get back to you about what we'll do. Um,
So
but that's 26, so well, it's not quite once a week for 6 months, but it's close enough. I think we took 2 weeks off in there, so it's pretty close to 6 months. So we're going strong. So I'll upload this to I think we're in YouTube, Spotify, and then it goes on to Apple Podcasts as well. Follow us on TikTok and make sure you follow us on Spotify. That's the one that helps us the most. So, yep. See you in the next one.
Cheers,
Cheers,
guys.
guys.